Hey, my little angels, come on in. Come in. All right, don't be shy. Everyone come in. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm excited for today's video. So please come in and have a seat. Unfortunately, the hammocks are out being restrung, but the rocking chair will still fit two of you, not one, but two. And I do have the meditation cushions and some hardback chairs around that wall and the big comfy couch. So just pile on and be comfortable. Thank you. And I do have two beverage stations set up. On the chilled beverage side, we have iced tea, sweet of course, with all kinds of flavorings. I have fresh peaches, lemons, what's that? Oh, and we have a small pitcher of lemonade. And I do have some just a small pitcher of unsweet tea if you'd like to have some. Why? But if you do, it's there. I'm not judging. Maybe just a little. And over on the hot beverage station, we have coffee, just regular coffee, but lots of different creamers. So you can kind of pick your own flavorings. And I have some herbal tea, and today's is a sweet orange. And sweeteners and dairies and non-dairies, everything's ready for you. Okay, good. Everyone's ready. Good. And I do see we have some new people joining us. Thank you so much for coming to our meeting of the ASMR Book Club. I do appreciate it. You can give it a thumbs up. You can share it. Sharing is caring. Comments are amazing. We love the comments on this channel. I love to know what you guys think, what you feel. I love watching you interact with each other. I love interacting with you. And when we connect like that, we take this great big world and go and make it smaller. And that is such a good thing, you guys. And please hit that subscribe button below. I appreciate it. And hello to all my returning little angels. I am so happy to see you guys. Thank you so much for all your continued support and your love, everything. Please just make sure you're still subscribed. Thank you. Okay, so today we are meeting for our monthly book club review, and any ASMR content creator can join, not a problem. There's no official joining. Just post a video reviewing the book we chose that month. This is just the second month that we've done it. The first month was the Nora Roberts Mind Games, and this month's book was chosen by Gina B, and she will choose the next person, and then we'll find out the book for next month. So Gina B, I did use my Kindle to read this book, and the book is Kristin Hannah, The Women. Okay, I have read Kristin Hannah books before. I was not prepared for how much this book would touch me. I have always been fascinated with the 60s and the 70s and the Vietnam era and what was going on. It's just something that's always drawn me. Maybe because I was born in 67. I don't know. But this book opens with a very idealistic, very young Frankie, and she is a nurse. Her family has always prided themselves on their men of service. They have a wall of photos. Her oldest brother, who she absolutely idolizes, is off in Vietnam. He volunteered to go there, and she decides to join him. Now, before she ships out, they get the news that her brother has been killed in action. Her family is devastated, and she expects a little bit of support when she tells her parents what she wants to do. Unfortunately, she doesn't get it. They think she's crazy. They don't think she should be doing this. She should snap out of it. Nonetheless, she goes. And she goes with all the idealism and all the ideology, I guess, of saving people, and we get to follow Frankie as if we were right there with her. She's lucky enough to meet two other nurses. They form a group, the three of them. They help Frankie at the beginning because green doesn't begin to describe this girl. She is so idealized, and I know I keep saying that, naive, but she's got a backbone, and she starts to get it. She's on a different shift, but her goal is to be a surgeon, a nurse in the surgical ward. We get to be with Frankie through a lot of trauma, through a lot of darkness. We watch as she grows up very quickly. We watch as she sees horrible things. She's there for dismemberment. She's there for bombings. She's there holding people's hands as they pass. She's there when they have to make the decision as to who will get care and who will just have to die. These all play on her. Through it all, she's writing her family. Her parents just don't get it. Just don't get it. She meets a love interest who she believes has passed. As she leaves the army, she starts to try to make her life. She's called a baby killer. She is spat on. She keeps waiting for the homecoming that she thought service people were supposed to get. When she returns home, her family just wants to pretend it didn't happen. And she finds out her father, rather than being proud of her service, has told people she is off learning in Florence, Italy. They're embarrassed by her. And there's no photo of her on the wall. Frankie tries to adjust to life, and it's very difficult. She is suffering from trauma, from PTSD, and she keeps being told by people that there were no women in Vietnam. Well, there were. Things become quite difficult for her, and she turns to drinking, eventually drugs. Her nursing license is suspended. Her friends come to help her. She also finds out the love of her life didn't die. She sees him come home. He had been taken prisoner of war and was repatriated. And she goes to see him at the airport as he runs into the loving arms of his wife and children. She's devastated. They end up seeing each other. He tells her the marriage is over. He's only staying with her because it doesn't, she waited for him. And they begin an affair. She finds out, of course, it's all a lie. He is with his wife. She's having another baby. Everything she wanted is over. She sinks further and further. She has it out with her family. Her friends try to help her, and they do. She does. But twice, not once, twice, she goes to the local VA hospital for help. And she said she's sitting into the support group for Vietnam veterans. She isn't allowed to go in because women weren't in Vietnam. The men in the groups know what she did. Most of them owe their lives to the nurses, the doctors, everything. She ends up asking to speak to someone. She needs help. She has reached out and asked for help. This is the one part where, had this been a book, I would have thrown it. But I wasn't throwing my Kindle. She explains what she has seen, what she's going through. It's so blatantly obvious that she's suffering. And the doctor looks at her and asks her, "Are you menstruating?" What? He wouldn't have asked a man that. That just, me. She then joins a group focusing on rebuilding her life. And we see her go through many, many phases. She has this where she's trying to work in a hospital and they're like, well, you don't have the experience, because they don't want to accept the experience she had. She's watching people do jobs that she can do like that. She saves someone, but because she overstepped her bounds, she's fired. She has a huge blowout with her family. Her mother gets it, finally. Her father is still not getting it. And I may be wrong, but I don't think she ever got her picture up on that wall. And her father never served either. In the end, he does. But it's a long fought battle. And we see her slip, but we see her heal. For me, it was the number of times she did ask for help that just got me, you know? Now, I have to say, I do love Kristin Hanna as an author. I love how she draws her characters. And yes, the characters in this book are almost deluged with trauma. But at the same time, reading about parties on the beach in Vietnam, reading about being able to take a helicopter and have a weekend at a hotel and then have to come back to the carnage. It's so surreal, and yet at the same time you feel as if you are walking right beside them. She writes her characters in such a way. The man that Frankie loved, I want to say Max, and I could be wrong. I made notes, but I wanted this to be very authentic. Right up until we found out that he was lying, I was there. I'm like, yeah, I believe in marriage, but you know what? I want these two together, and they've been through so much, and let them be together. And then to find out he's, you know, a cad, just lying and stringing her along. It was, you know. And when we see her relapse, it's so natural. You think, how can she not, really? And the two friends that she has, you hear men talk about this quite a bit, brothers in battle, wartime buddies who are closer than family. That's what happened with these three women. They became so tight-knit, and they were sisters in arms, basically. But she just kept being told there were no women in Vietnam. There were a lot of women in Vietnam. And the way the military responded to them, the way the public responded to them, it's heartbreaking. My heart broke through a lot of this book. And I'm not saying it's a heavy, depressing read. But it is a read that will make you feel. And I love those kind of books. Books that make you feel, I think that's a talent, you know? And with Frankie and her family, like her father, I just wanted to punch the man. Like, her mother, to me, was a typical 40s and 50s housewife, and they were very well to do. So, you know, what will the people at the club say? That kind of thing. she had a flashback, and rather than be concerned that their daughter was having flashbacks for the trauma that she endured and what she had seen, they were embarrassed that people saw it. There's a part of me reading it that looked at like how Frankie managed to come out alive is beyond me. It truly is. But she did. And you do get the healing power throughout this book as well. But to see her go from this young, doe-eyed, innocent, and you don't even see where, it's not as if you're reading it and it's like, oh, page 2, oh, she becomes hardened. You see it. You see how each instance, each hand-holding, each triaging, I don't know how they could do it. How they managed to get through it. To be able to look at someone and say, we can't save this one, go to this one, while the person is asking you to help them. And all you can do is hold their hand while they go. It's heart-wrenching, and it shows, you could almost see her innocence being stripped away, her character being chipped away. It touches you so much. And I didn't think I could enjoy this book. I thought I would like it as a written, piece of history type of thing. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed getting to know them all. I enjoyed seeing what would happen next. At no time did I judge Frankie for her downfall and her mistakes. And Kristin Hannah wrote a flawed character. She had her flaws. She made huge mistakes. Huge mistakes. She ended up hitting someone with her car while under the influence. She was very lucky they weren't killed. And you see how she has to grapple with that and the ramifications that come of that. It's just, and you're with her. You're just going, okay. And every step forward, it's like someone pushes her 2 steps back. And she finally finds a group where she can talk. And it's families of the veterans and the POWs and the MIAs. And they thank her. They understand her service. But at the same time, she's home. And it's hard for her. She feels like she has her feet in different worlds. And she's not sure where she's supposed to be or how she's supposed to end up. And how she does is remarkable. I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. As I say, it's Kristin Hannah, The Women. I thank Gina B very much for choosing this book for the month. I literally plowed through it. It was the first book I put on my Kindle, and I really did just plow through. Not as fast as I would normally, but I got through. And I couldn't, that line just won't leave my head. There were no women in Vietnam. And the doctors basically turning her away. She is sitting there in front of them with every single symptom that they know what it is. If she was a man, would have gotten treatment. And like I said, the one asking her if she was menstruating, oh my God. How she didn't leap across that desk, I don't know. But Kristin Hannah writes these characters, and I know I have read some reviews that have said it's not completely historically accurate. I don't care, it's close enough. And like I said, I don't want to use big fancy, but the juxtaposition between being at war and then going down to the beach and playing volleyball or learning to water ski in Vietnam while this war is raging around you. That to me struck me so hard, with the normalcy versus the chaos. How did they expect people to come back sane? You know, and then when they did come back, you know, people were protesting, people were calling them baby killers, spitting on them. They weren't allowed to talk about their service. It was heartbreaking, a lot of this book. It was eye-opening. It was... Okay, I'm gushing now. I can't say enough good things, and I hope that this review did it justice. And I hope that you'll pick up Kristin Hanna's The Women. I don't know what the next book is going to be. That'll be announced tomorrow. Or today, maybe. I'm not sure. So I hope that you'll join me for the next book. And like I said, this is open to anybody who wants to post a review. And all you have to do is at the end of the month, comment on the book. Let myself or Jeannie B know that you're interested, and you might be the one chosen to do the next month. How it works again is I chose the first book, and then I chose Jeannie B to choose the second book, and she will choose the third person, and they'll choose the third book, and that person will choose the fourth, and so on and so on. There's no dues, or there's no annual meetings. It's just at the end of the month we post our reviews basically on the last day of the month. And I'd really love to see all of you take part in this. It's a lot of fun, and I really do love the whole book reading, reviewing, book clubbish genre that we're doing here. It's just amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, I love you, I value you, I honor you, and I'm so very, very glad that each and every one of you was born.